Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Goldeneye 007, also known as Goldeneye 64. After years of rights hell, Nintendo has finally allowed Rare to re-release the Goldeneye game. But does it hold up? Goldeneye 64 is currently available via Xbox or Switch, and it's only available via subscription service, either Game Pass on Xbox or Switch Online Expansion Pack on that system. And the game's single player will take you around 10 to 12 hours to get through, but it definitely encourages replays. So what exactly is Goldeneye 64? Well, it's a very early console FPS, probably best well known for its popular split-screen multiplayer and objective-based single player. And before we go any further, I should mention that the Switch and Xbox versions are different. The Switch is a straight-up emulation of the N64 game, while the Xbox version is remastered somewhat, with improved frame rate, widescreen support, and higher resolution. Alright, enough intro. Goldeneye's main single-player campaign comprises of 20 missions that loosely follow the story of the movie. In each mission, you'll be tossed into a usually small-ish zone with a silenced pistol, a well-fitted suit, with plenty of enemies to kill and objectives to accomplish. And the objectives are the actual goal here. Unlike most FPS games of this era, you're not here to just kill, but instead use some of James Bond's crazy text to solve objectives. For example, one mission involves you taking pictures of a spy satellite and then escaping, and another might require you to copy a keycard and hack a server. A neat twist is that if you bump up the difficulty, not only are the enemies stronger and you get less ammo, but the number of objectives you are expected to complete increases. This really encourages replays, as you might run through a mission on easy to learn its layout and basic goals, and then try it again on a harder difficulty with more challenges. The shooting itself has a heavy reliance on auto-aim, and as such I'd argue it is pretty basic. Lastly, I should mention this game's graphics, which they honestly don't look particularly great. However, there's a ton of little touches here that are ahead of their time. Depending on where you shoot enemies, they will react accordingly, which is crazy considering this game's age. There's also tons of stuff to blow up, glass you can shoot through and shatter, and just a myriad of great immersive interactables throughout the levels. There is a standard of quality here that really shines. And of course, there is the multiplayer split screen only on Xbox, which has a whole host of options to choose from and different modes to play with up to 4 agents. As it was split screen, I'll admit I didn't play a ton for this review, but what I did felt like classic Goldeneye, and it's still pretty fun. So this is a re-release of Goldeneye, finally out of rights hell, just basically a port with minor improvements on the Xbox. So what did I like about Goldeneye 007? Well, the mission structure is really clever. As someone who hadn't played it before, I was shocked at how objective-based it was, and I really liked it. It made the game feel unique among FPS games, not only of its era, but today too. Additionally, the shooting generally feels pretty good, especially on a modern controller, with guns being really punchy, and the previously mentioned enemy reactions just making the whole thing very satisfying. And lastly, I have to mention this game's music. It is incredible. While it does lean on some 007 themes, a lot of the original tracks are outright bangers. While I'm not nostalgic for this game's music in particular, I love this MIDI sound, and there are some fantastic tracks here. When it comes to the bad, a lot of the missions I found to be very frustrating the first time through because the game is really unclear about where you are supposed to accomplish its various goals. This is particularly exacerbated in those above ground missions, which toss you in a very large map and everything looks kind of samey, and you just kind of wander around for ages not knowing where to go. Additionally, this Xbox port feels pretty half-assed. The text and menus are still pretty low resolution, the frame rate is somehow not stable, even on a Series X, and it has that thing where polygons intersect, they flash sometimes. It's really unfortunate. And lastly, the lack of online in the Xbox is not only a bummer, it's really frustrating considering this is 100% on Nintendo for not letting this happen. Nintendo also blocked that 360 remaster Rare had actually literally finished back in the day that got leaked online. I don't know what Nintendo's deal is with this game, but here's hoping in the future we can get some online play. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale: must play, maybe consider, don't bother. And I'm gonna say that Goldeneye held up surprisingly well, and as somebody playing through the single player the first time, I was very impressed by Rare's ambitions here, even if some of the missions' obtuseness led to more frustration than fun. But my main issue is the port's technical problems on the Xbox. Between the stuttering frame rate, flickering texture separation, this port feels half-assed. That being said, if you've never played Goldeneye like I hadn't, I do think this game is absolutely worth considering, if at the very least you just experience Rare's attention to detail and extremely ambitious ideas circa 1997. That's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of Goldeneye in the comments, and go out there and give it a play.